Versace, a true story of wealth and murder. In the glittering world of high fashion, where power is stitched with silk and success is measured in headlines and front-row seats, few names have ever echoed as loudly as Versace. A name that defined glamour, a brand that transformed fashion into art. But behind the luxury, behind the lights, lies a story as dark as it is dazzling. One of genius, fame, obsession, and a brutal murder that stunned the world. Gianni Versace was born in 1946 in Reggio Calabria, a small town in southern Italy. His mother was a dressmaker, and from a young age, Gianni was surrounded by patterns, fabrics, and beauty. He watched, he learned, and by his teenage years, he was already sketching designs that would one day walk the runways of Paris and Milan. In 1978, after moving to Milan, he launched his own fashion line, Versace. His vision was bold, colorful, sensual, and daring. He broke all the rules of fashion and created a new language of design: Baroque prints, gold chains, leather, metal, and skin. Gianni didn't just make clothes, he made statements. Celebrities flocked to him. Princess Diana, Elton John, Madonna, Naomi Campbell, they all wore Versace. His fashion shows became cultural events, blending runway and performance, music and spectacle. He was one of the first designers to turn models into supermodels. Claudia, Cindy, Linda, Naomi, they didn't just walk in his shows, they were his muses. Behind the success was a tight-knit family. His sister Donatella was his creative partner, and his brother Santo handled the business. Together, they built an empire. Versace stores opened in major cities. The logo, the head of Medusa, became a symbol of wealth, power, and seduction. But fame attracts more than just fans. It attracts obsession. Andrew Cunanan was a charming young man from California, highly intelligent, a smooth talker, but deeply troubled. He lived in a world of illusion and lies, pretending to be wealthy, powerful, connected. In reality, he was drifting, from relationships, from jobs, from sanity. In the spring of 1997, Cunanan went on a killing spree across the United States. 5 victims in total. The FBI listed him on its 10 most wanted list. But what shocked the world most was his final act. On the morning of July 15, 1997, Gianni Versace left his Miami Beach mansion to walk to a nearby cafe, just as he did every day. He returned home carrying magazines, climbed the steps to his front door, and was shot twice in the head. The world froze. A titan of fashion murdered in broad daylight on the steps of his own home. Within days, authorities named Andrew Cunanan as the suspect. 8 days later, after a massive manhunt, Cunanan was found dead by suicide on a houseboat just a few miles away. No trial, no answers, no clear motive. Theories swirled. Some believed Cunanan had known Versace. Others claimed it was a random killing, a final act in a downward spiral. The truth may never be fully known. What remains is the horror, the heartbreak, and the legacy. Gianni's funeral drew thousands, including royalty, movie stars, and fellow designers. Elton John and Princess Diana sat side by side in the pews. The fashion world wept not just for a designer, but for a visionary, a man who had given beauty to the world. Donatella Versace stepped into the spotlight, heartbroken but determined. She took the reins of the company and carried on her brother's dream. Today, Versace remains one of the most iconic luxury brands in the world. But the story of Versace is not just about fashion. It is about how high one can rise. It's about fame and the shadows it casts. It's about a man whose brilliance lit up the world and whose murder darkened it. Versace gave the world glamour. His death reminded us how fragile life is, even at the top. If you found this story powerful and want to explore more real-life tales of ambition, tragedy, and legacy, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's always more beneath the surface.